2 errors in the inning has put 2 Tigers on the bases and nobody out. It's kind of a wide throw to first. Contreras had it pop out of his glove. And 2 back-to-back errors in this inning have got runners on the corners, and Coach David Dirk sensing a shift in momentum, and he'll come in and refocus his infield and talk to his infield up on the mound. The Beavers will be at Spearville on Thursday, so they go the first game of the year at Oberlin last Tuesday to an all-dirt infield to today with grass in the infield, and then they'll go back to the all-turf infield at Spearville on Thursday. Right now, they got to take care of business here. 2 on and nobody out for the Tigers, and 2 errors have put 2 Tigers on the corners here. And it's back to the top of the order for Stryker Berglund, who singled his last time up and was hit by a pitch his first time up. But uncharacteristically, 4 errors on the day for Scott City. Here in the top of the 5th inning, 2 on and nobody out for Ulysses. Scott City needs to get at least 1 out, even if they have to trade an out for a run. That one fouled back, and the count is at 0-1. Third time through the batting order for the Tigers. Sophomore Berglund started at shortstop, and he's now at second. Eisenhower working from the stretch. Quick glance over at the runner at first. And that almost hit. Breaking ball missed, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike here for Stryker Berglund. And that's helped inflate a little bit the pitch count on Eisenhower. This will be his 10th pitch of the inning. And this one's fouled off, and that helps out Eisenhower. Counted the ball in 2 strikes. 2 on, nobody out here in the top of the 5th for Ulysses, trying to play catch-up. They have 1 run on 3 hits and 2 errors. Scott City 5 runs, 7 hits, and 4 errors here in game 1. The 1-2. Ground ball fielded by Feely. He'll go to second. Oh, that throw pulls him off the bag, and an error. A 3rd error in the inning scores a run for Ulysses, and it's 5-2 and nobody out. On the fielder's choice, and 1 run in. That pitch is inside for ball 1. Count is at 1-0 here in the top of the 5th inning. A run in. And there's a grounder. This is a field by Kramer. He'll go to second for... Oh, it's another error. And that's going to score another run. And it's now 5-3. A 4th error in the inning for Scott City. Scores another run, and it's 5-3, and still nobody at. Urias scores. And Berglund is at 3rd, and Ledesma at 1st. For Alex Hostetler is 1 for 2. That pitch misses for ball 1 on Alex Hostetler. The runners on the corners, nobody out. 4 errors in the inning. The throw back to first, runner safe, and that has allowed Ulysses to score 2 runs. They have cut the deficit in half at 5-3. That's a moment where the infield for Scott City just needs to be, as they were saying from Ted Lasso, be that goldfish and forget about it and move on. Pitch misses in, 2-0. 5-3 now. Here in the top of the 5th inning, 2 on and nobody out, and 2 runs in for the Tigers. They have runners on the corners. Hostetler 1 for 2 in the game. Pitch misses outside, and it's now 3-0, and all of a sudden, I think just the composure for the infield for Scott City is just not there right now. They just have to just get an out to settle themselves down. And there's a strike down the middle, 3-1. Three balls and a strike here for Alex Hostetler. And on deck is Perez in the cleanup spot. Here's a swing and a miss, and Eisenhower has worked the count full with a strike, and now a swing and a miss by Hostetler, 3-2. Getting one out would be monumental for Scott City here in this bottom of the fifth inning. 3-2 pitch, misses high, ball 4, and that loads the bases, and there's nobody out. Hostetler at first, Ledesma second, Berglund at third. The tying run, just like that, is at first or second base for Tice Perez, who's 0 for 2. Perez grounded out and reached on a fielder's choice his last time up. Coach David Dirks calling for time here. No, he's questioning the call. I think he's questioning something in the batting lineup, maybe. Okay, so the the courtesy runner is at second. That is Spencer. I think that was probably the big question there.
He's at first. That's what I think.
He has to be at first because he came in for Hostetler.
Yep, you're right. Okay, the courtesy runner is, Spencer. He's at first now. I think that was a big question there. And now, Tice Perez with an opportunity to tie this game up here. 4 errors in the inning for Scott City, and nobody out for Ulysses here in the top of the fifth. Changed this whole game around. Eisenhower's first walk of the day. The first and third baseman in, and this is popped up foul territory by Perez and out of play. 0-1. So you have Feely on the infield grass at third. Contreras on the infield grass at first. They get a hit, or get a ball hit their way. They're going home. This is going to be flied in the air to left center field. Underneath, it's going to be Chasen Berry. He'll make the grab. That'll be the first out of the inning. Here's a play at the plate. The tag not in time. Nobody covering third, and it's now the tying run 90 feet away with 1 out, and it's 5-4. Tagging up and scoring was Berglund on the RBI sac fly by Tice Perez. As Ledesma heads over to third, and it's now 5-4, just 1 out in the inning. Spencer, the courtesy runner, stayed at first, and that'll bring in Corbin Lopez, who's 0 for 2. Fly out and a pop out for him, and batting in the 5 hole, and he pops this one up in the air. This will be into shallow right field, and it's going to be caught. Tagging up immediately that time, and Radke does a good job of blocking it. Junior Mesa makes the catch and does a good job of delivering it into the infield. And that's a big second out of this inning. It wasn't deep enough to bring Ledesma home from third. And Spencer, the courtesy runner, remains at first. 2 outs for Jackson Hauser, who's 0 for 2. Ground out and reached on an error his first time up. Or his last time up, excuse me. 5-4 right now. Scott City hanging on to a 1-run lead here in the top of the fifth. This one fouled off, and the count is at 0-1. Errors have plagued this inning for Scott City. 4 errors. That has contributed to 3 of the 4 runs on the board this inning. And it's inflated Eisenhower's pitch count to now 69. He's thrown 26 in this inning. This one fouled off first base side, and it's quickly 0-2. Eisenhower will be due up, followed by Harris and Berry in the bottom of the fifth for Scott City. Once was a 4-run lead heading into this inning, is now down to 1. Eisenhower brings home the pitch. Popped up. This is into foul territory, but it's going to work its way out as Radke took the catcher's mask off to try to find it, but it pushed out of play, and the count remains at 0-2 for Jackson Hauser. But now it's changed the whole game around with the errors. Eisenhower at 71 pitches, and now you got to play the pitching game the rest of the doubleheader with a doubleheader 2 days from today. This will be tapped third base side. Charging it's going to be Feely. He needs to get it over to first, and he does just in time. And that saves the tying run from scoring on the putout. But Ulysses took advantage of 4 Scott City errors in that top of the 5th inning. There are 3 runs, no hits, 4 errors, and 1 left on base. After 4.5 innings, it is Scott City 5, Ulysses 4. Back in a minute. This is Beaver. Eisenhower, followed by Jackson Harris and Chase Berry. Scott City need to get a little bit more padding here in the bottom of the 5th inning here. See what they can do here in the 5th at bat of the game. Eisenhower 1 for 1. I guess he did go around and called strike single to walk in his first 2 appearances at the plate. And the count is at 0-1 for the junior Eisenhower. Now needs to help his cause out on the mound. That pitch misses low and away from Urias, 1-1. So Ledesma, in his final line, he gives up 5 runs, 3 earned, 7 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, and a hit batter in 3 2/3. This is a slow roller fielded by Hauser, the third baseman, bobbles it, and it's a leadoff error. And Scott City with a runner on board. This has been a game that's been filled with errors. A 3rd error of the game for Ulysses.
We have a courtesy runner?
Nope. And that'll bring in Jackson Harris, who's 0 for 1. Walking a ground out. Scott City with 5 runs on 7 hits, but 6 errors in the game. And that pitch hits the inside corner for Harris, a called strike, count at 0-1. Sun's starting to peek through here a little bit. Then Eisenhower, he was credited with no earned runs there. There's 4 runs for Ulysses are all unearned. Here's a grounder fielded by the first baseman. It hits the runner as he's on his way to second. Lopez tried to get over to second, and Eisenhower is safe. All right. He was in the baseline, I guess, so.
So is that a throwing error?
I think it'll be E3 on that one. That's an unusual error. You don't see that very often. So he tried to get it over Ledesma at second. And there's 2 on. Scott City now taking advantage of a couple Tiger errors. Barry fouls this one straight back, and it's 0-1. Chased in 1 for 2. Got its first hit of the year, first time up. He reached on an error his last time up. And now Ulysses has 4 errors in the game. Scott City with an opportunity here to pad their lead again. That pitch up and in, 1-1. Urias, 7 pitches this inning out of his 10 that he's thrown in relief of Caden Ledesma. Ledesma went to short. Berglund went to second. And Barry will pop this one up. Infield fly rule is called as it's fouled back. Well, I think it's just a foul ball, so it is 2-1. If it stayed, if the wind did not blow it back, that's a break for Barry. That would have been an infield fly rule routine. But now the count is at 1-2. The umpire in the field called infield fly rule. Pointed his finger up. Pitch, and Barry chases one out, and first base occupied, out number 1. Urias gets his second strikeout, and the 4 batters he's faced, 1 out here for Junior Mesa. 1 for 2 is the junior. Strikeout, he singled his last time up. Had a grounder. 2 on and 1 out for Scott City. And he flies this one in the air, foul territory. Hauser trying to find it near the fence, and he makes the catch, and there's out number 2. Two out and 2 on in the inning, and back to the top of the order. And Avery Radke can step in here and deliver some runs here. He walked, he singled, and was hit by a pitch his last time up. He needs another grounder down that third base line he had that drove in a run earlier in the game. Scott City up 5-4 with 2 outs in the last of the 5th inning. Takes a pitch outside for a ball, 1-0. But Eisenhower at 72 pitches is pretty big here, because I think 75. Oh, this one well hit in the left field. Back goes Tice Perez. He's reading it, and he will make that grab, and that'll retire the side. And Scott City leaves 2 more runners aboard here, and the wind had died at the right time there, and that ends the 5th inning. But Scott City cannot take advantage of 2 errors. As we head to the 6th, Scott City will take a 1-run lead into the 6th inning at 5-4. Back in a minute. This is Beaver Baseball. Softball team. It'll be the bottom third of the order for the Tigers. Ruben Rodriguez. He'll be followed by Josh Eddy and Jaden Urias. Ulysses plated 3 in that inning, where Scott City had 4 errors. All unearned runs. Pitch on the way is outside for ball 1, and that inflated Eisenhower's pitch counts. He was sitting pretty good through 4 innings, and then had a big pitch count in the 5th inning, and now he's at 73 pitches. Gets a fly ball pop-up, looks like, into shallow, or nope, it's going to stay in the infield, and Spencer Kramer will make the grab. I wonder if he had to fight the sun a little bit, as it just peaked out in time. 1 out here in the Tigers' 6th inning. It was 14-2 for Scott City in that first round, our first game there in Ulysses. Here it's Josh Eddy, who's 1 for 2, takes a pitch up high for a ball. He's the one that started the inning off with a leadoff error and a run scored. Eddie ahead in the count 1-0. And now it's 1-1. His fastball's in there, hits the outside corner. Eddie now in right field. He started the day out at second base. 1 for 2 here in this game. And pitch misses 2-1. 2 balls and a strike here for Josh Eddy with Urias on deck, who is the pitcher right now for the Tigers. And this one's popped up in the infield as Contreras looking for it in foul ground. He'll make the grab, and there's 2 outs with the bases empty here in the top of the 6th inning. So Contreras fighting the sun a little bit, makes the grab, 2 outs. Gene Urias 0 for 2 with the run scored. Struck out and reached on an error his last time up, and also scored that run in that 3-run 5th inning for the Tigers. Beavers will be back home on Tuesday next week against Holcomb. Pitching that time, Eisenhower got Urias to chase one out of the zone. It's 0-1. Bases cleared, 2 down here, top of the 6th. Scott City up 5-4 here in game 1, trying to hang on. They will have the 2, 3, 4 hitters due up in their 6th at bat. Aaron Radke, Emilio Contreras, and Tegan Feely. This one's popped up as well, but this is going to be working into foul ground. Contreras will make his 2nd straight pop fly in foul territory catch, this time in front of the Ulysses dugout, and that'll retire the side. Just an 8-pitch, 1-2-3, 6th inning for Ulysses. And Scott City will have a 1-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Up 5-4 with the 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up in 1 minute. This is Beaver Baseball.
Do we play 7 or 9?
Mute that. There we go. Now you can hear on that feed. That pitch, well, it didn't make the plate as it goes to the backstop 1-0. Radke, the freshman, 1 for 2. The center fielder singled his first time up, a ground out, and then a sacrifice fly to left field his last time up. Ended up being an important run there for Scott City. That's the difference. And he grounds this one right to the first baseman. Lopez, 3 unassisted for out number 1. 1 up and 1 down, and Scott City 6 for Emilio Contreras, who's 1 for 3. 2 ground outs. One was in the fielder's choices last time up. A single, but all in the same spots, kind of that shortstop area. Seeing Urias here, the pitch in the dirt, 1-0 the count, and that'll go to the backstop as Feely, the on-deck batter, will have to retrieve it. Scott City needing some insurance here to pick up pad their lead. They lead 5-4 here in the bottom of the 6th. 1 out, bases cleared. And this will be grounded, but just pulled foul, and the count now 1-1 for Contreras, the senior first baseman. He's been that everyday first baseman for the Beavers over the last 3 years. The wind dying down a little bit more now. This one's hit first base side but out of play, and it's 1-2. Home run's really not going to be a deal or thing today unless you get one inside the park. Pitch, tap foul at the plates, and Contreras stays alive in the count at 1-2. One and two. Here's Ulysses' pitch. Finds, backhanded by Ledesma over to first, not in time, and an infield single for Emilio Contreras. Ledesma, good job of backhanding that to keep it in the infield, and there's 1-on-1 out, and Scott City has another hit. That was a slow enough roller that it found the kind of that back part of the infield, and we're going to get a courtesy runner here for Contreras, looks like.
Can he come in here for somebody else?
And the other team did.
Like Gare, the courtesy runner,
Oh, how'd he go?
Oh, he's not a courtesy runner. He's a pinch runner.
or pinch runner, yeah.
So that's how you do that.
Yeah, he probably can't.
I didn't think you could run for this, a different person after you'd already ran for one.
Well, in the courtesy, you don't actually come to the game. I think
There's
it's
a pitch. Feely will pop this one up here in the infield, and it's going to be Ledesma making the grab, and there's two away. Took that on the first pitch he saw. And there's two away. The courtesy runner Gare on at first. Spencer Kramer is 0 for 3. He was the first batter to face Urias back in the fourth inning, and he struck out on 3 pitches, swinging at all 3 of them. Now he's had a little bit of time to study Urias here. Ulysses will have the top of the order due up in the 7th, and that pitch is low and away for a ball. Berglund, Ledesma, and Hostetler will lead things off for the Tigers in the 7th inning. Right now, 5-4 Scott City lead. Urias 2 innings of work here. He's only thrown 24 pitches, and his 25th is a grounder right to the second baseman, Berglund. He'll just sling it over to Lopez at first, and that'll retire the side. 1 hit, 1 left for Scott City. As unable to get an insurance run, Ulysses coming up here, down 1 run with a tying run at the plate. They'll have the top of the order due up when we come back. It's 5-4 Scott City. Back in a minute. This is Beaver Baseball. And the leadoff error puts the tying run aboard. Scott City's 7th error of the game. Yeah. That'll bring up Caden Ledesma, who's 0 for 3. Ledesma reached on an error, grounded to a fielder's choice, flew out to right field, and so Ulysses, with just 3 hits in the game, They have 4 errors of their own. Scott City with 7 errors. And now the throwback to first, they have a chance to get him, and they were pretty close on that one. Berglund had a pretty decent enough lead. He's a tying run. We'll see how Ulysses plays this. Ledesma, see if he chooses to bunt on this one or not. With Berglund tying a throwback to first, yeah, that one wasn't close, but just keep the runner toward. And now you've got a pitcher on the mound that has to worry about 2 different players. Runner goes, pitches a strike, throw down to second. They have a chance to get him, but it's off target. A little high, and the tying run is in scoring position. So 0-1 count here for Caden Ledesma, but striker Berglund with a stolen base. And the tying run in scoring position with nobody out in the 7th. Oh, 1 count here for Ledesma. Grounds this one. It's to be fielded by Kremer. The runner advances to third. They'll go to first, but the tying run 90 feet away with 1 out. Ends up being a productive at bat for Ulysses as it moves the tying run to third with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. And that'll bring up Alex Hostetler, who's 1 for 2. He walked his last time up, a ground out and a single. A base hit would tie this game up. Scott City hanging on here, 5-4 here in the top of the 7th. Now in low for ball. Game 1 of this doubleheader here. Scott City will look back at not only errors here in this game, but ooh, that one gets away from the catcher, and he got a tie game. It's 2-0. Berglund scores from third on the passed ball, and Ulysses has come all the way back. They have the last 4 runs of the game and have tied it up at 5 bases empty, 1 out in a 5-5 game. So we're going to see Scott City coming to bat in the bottom of the 7th inning. But Scott City will have a chance to win it here, but they want to keep it at least 5-5 right now. The Beavers are going to look back at all the errors today. 3-0 now the counts. The errors and leaving all the runners on the bases here. They've left at least 7 on base today. 3-0. And it's ball 4, and the go-ahead run is on at first with nobody out, or 1 out, excuse me. That'll bring up Tice Perez, who's 0 for 2. He did have an RBI sac fly his last time up. They are going to get a courtesy. Or no, we're going to get time here. Yep, the courtesy runner comes in. It'll be Spencer. As Coach David Dirks is now going to talk to his infield. Just the second walk issued by Eisenhower today. All 5 of the Ulysses runs are unearned runs. 2 walks, 1 strikeout, 1 hit batter. Oh, we're going to have a new pitching. We're going to have a pitching change. Let's come back in a minute. Scott City and Ulysses tied at 5 here in the top of the 7th inning. We'll step aside for a 1-minute break. This is
Is it up, Scott?
There we go. All right, back here for the bottom of the 7th inning. And it's 5-5. The winning run at the plate for the Beavers, Easton Eisenhower, followed by Jackson Harris and Chastenberry. Eisenhower 1 for 2. Grounds this one to the shortstop, Ledesma. It's a slow roller, gloves it, and it is not in time in an infield single. That was such a slow roller, even Ledesma who charged it. But Easton Eisenhower showing the speed there on the winning run at first with nobody out for Scott City. On an infield single. And the Beavers collect hit number 9 of the game. That'll bring up Jackson Harris, who's 0 for 2. You don't need to overswing, you just need to get a base hit, find a hole. He reached on an error his last time up. He's walked and grounded out in this game. He'll take a strike, counted 0-1. So Urias, the pitcher, he's in line for the decision for Ulysses. Eisenhower is still in line for the decision for Scott City, even though he was pulled after 87 pitches. This one's a base hit into right center field. This is in a hole, and that'll round Eisenhower to second. He'll be into third, and Scott City has the winning run 90 feet away with nobody out in the bottom of the 7th. He hit that one on a rope into the gap into right center field. Eddie gloved it and got it in. And 2 on and nobody out for Scott City. And that'll bring up Junior Mesa. Or correction, Chastenberry. Mesa's on deck. Berry 1 for 3. His second hit will end this game. Single, reached on an error and a strikeout. Scott City now with 10 hits in the game, trying to overcome a 7-error day. The pitch is in for a strike. Runner takes second, and really that right now that run is irrelevant. I guess it's a backup go-ahead run if you want to call it that. No stolen base, defensive indifference, 0-1 the count. And now 0-2. 0-2 count for Berry with 2 on in scoring position. Nobody out in the bottom of the 7th. Scott City tied at 5 with the Ulysses here in game 1. Trying to get to 1-0 in league play. The 0-2. Inside. Glove that time by the catcher, Hostetler. And the count now at 1-2. Urias is now throwing 31 pitches in relief in 2 1/3 innings. He does have a couple of Ks. No walks. That's important there. 1-2. Oh, Berry chases one in the dirt, picked up, and now they're going to go to first to complete the strikeout for 1 away. Hostetler to Lopez to complete the strikeout. Runners stay at second and third. For Junior Mesa, infield is in. Everything is going home. We're to first. The pitch. Tap foul, third base side, counted 0-1. Kind of chopping in that one was Mesa. He needs to kind of square that up a little bit. He just needs to loop one into over the infield, and that will end the game. But the infield in for Ulysses here with runners at second and third and 1 out here, tied at 5 at the bottom of the 7th. Pitch. Oh, a liner off the glove of the third baseman. It rolls into left field, and Eisenhower scores. Mesa helps walk it off for the Beavers. They overcome 7 errors in this game to win it in game 1, 6-5. The Beavers survive here. 6-5 in game 1 as they go to 3-0 on the year and 1-0 in league play. The Beavers win it here. We'll come back in 2 minutes and we'll recap this game here in a moment. So this is Beaver Baseball.